Do do do, theme song. Do do do, I'm broke so this is my theme song. Do do do, just imagine this is an awesome theme song. Do do, theme song. Left of the box. Hello, welcome to Left of the Box. Bonjour, bienvenue. I'm Sandy. You see, you got dressed for the occasion. It is the Charlie Kirk National Day of Remembrance. We all should be in mourning here. So I'm wearing a dark veil of sorts. Hey, everyone. Can I get some thumbs up in the SandBox to make sure everything is working all right? I'm streaming differently than my normal stream. It's been a while since I've done this, and it looks like there's been changes and everything, so just want to make sure everything is looking good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm wearing a veil for this day of mourning. It's Charlie Kirk Memorial Day. Dan is not quite here yet. And then Bam will be joining later on. Okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. Try refreshing your screen, Mud Buds. But yeah. Just National Day of Remembrance. It's a solemn day. It's a solemn, very sad day. Sad day. I don't have an actual veil, so this is the closest I get. This is a cloak, actually. that I have. I was talking about in my last live stream about all the people in San Francisco with all those big costumes on and stuff like that to make fun of the ICE officials. And I'm like, Francesca was saying on the Majority Report when she was there on Friday, saying, you know, these people, they already had them in the closets. Well, I have a costume closet. So I usually have things that I can toss on in a moment's notice. This is really weird positioning. I have like the two moons here. Oh. So yes, Bam and Dam will be joining me at some point soon, hopefully. Because I'm set up on this, I'm doing my cheat stream. So you're not seeing me through my camera, you're seeing me through a screen grab. The camera is being used for StreamYards, and then I'm capturing the screen and putting it over. But yeah, so in the SandBox, we have a ton of people so far. Let's see. Well, it looks like a lot of the people who are over watching the premiere. So we got Trevor's, Nicken. I know who you are. I'll be damned if I can remember your other name. I'm horrible with names. We got John and Manope and Soul Life and Looney Tunes and lots of people. I hope I don't miss people. The reference frame, Etchbox. Yeah, lots of, there's Jet. Yep, sorry if I missed your name. Bad Lefty. Buku SF. I also know that there might be something weird. Yes, John Martinez, that's it, that's it. Yes, there might be something weird going on with YouTube and their handles and stuff. And at the powwow I went to a couple weeks ago, I got earrings that look just like your uh, profile picture, John Martinez. I'm not wearing them now because, again, it's a day of mourning, so I'm wearing my little skeleton kitty cat earrings. It's very, I feel like, very New Orleans in a way to have like these skeleton kitty cat earrings. I'm just trying to pull them out so you can get a better look at them. See, aren't they so cute? They're so cute. Little skeleton. But yeah, let me know what you guys were thinking of the premiere of that video. That's the whole point of this, is to talk about it. I didn't get any super chats in that, which is fine. But the whole point of this video was to talk about what we just watched. And if you have any questions and things of that sort, or, you know, things that you just want to get off your mind and stuff, because it's been a big event, and I was working my ass off on that video. Oh my God. Last Friday, I spent over 4 hours straight talking to the camera in that voice. I was wrecked, absolutely wrecked from that. I did a new upload earlier today of that video because the frame was off in a way I didn't like. It didn't connect properly, so I had to re-upload it. But it got up on time, so that's all good. And John Martinez, I appreciate you appreciating Indigenous history and culture. Well, if you want to learn more about it up here on October 1st on this space, so not this channel, but on this space, at the 4 p.m. slot when I was on, I was talking about Truth and Reconciliation Day, because that's Orange Shirt Day. That's the 30th of September, the day before I was on, so I wanted to inform the audience about it. So we talked a lot about it. Well, Bad Lefty is saying I absolutely smashed it, and Paige is saying I did really good with the video. Yes. Hopefully watching that, you might understand why the TYT videos take me so fucking long. Because that video had about 40 reference videos that I pulled from, like for clips and sound effects and stuff. And it had about 80 images I added in. The TYT video. In the playlist for reference videos, there's about 150. That's not all the videos I'm pulling from, though, because there's some videos that I'm just getting off of Twitter and things of that sort that can't be just added to that list on YouTube. So, yeah, that's a lot of fucking work. Oh, right, I knew how I was going to fix this. So when Dan does come on, I might have to goof around with this a little bit. Oh, and speaking of Dan, I can add an image here, just a second, because what I want to do is set up the next shot properly without you guys seeing all the sausage in it. So first, I have to cover up this screen with a cute picture. So let's do this, and I'll go, I'll do this one. Frodo, okay. That's really big. So you can still hear me, but you cannot see me. But you will soon see my kitty cat. Frodo's still doing okay, even though he has that weird growth on the side of his neck that is totally freaking me out. So Dan is here, but I'm not seeing anything on his camera. Because you get the little preview, but I'm not seeing anything on the camera. So maybe he has to refresh that or something. But yeah. So just reading a couple more comments. John Martinez, you expressed how I felt about Charlie Kirk to a T. I thank you. Soul Life thinking was great. Yeah. So as soon as Dan's camera is working properly, I'll put the Frodo picture up, then I'll go to studio mode and set up the next shot properly. Because it's a bit of a pain. Trying to do it this way, because I don't have a StreamYard subscription or thing. So like I have to jury rig it pretty much. It's what you learn how to do when you live with poverty is these sorts of things. Um, uh, he's trying to come back. Let's see. I'm just going to put up the photo picture. You'll still hear me. But let's see if this works. If I add him to stage. I'm just getting a donut when I add him to stage. But it will at least let me. I can do the studio mode at least here and start the setup. To make sure that everything is aligned, because it's not. Because of course, StreamYards changes things, which is super annoying when it does that. So when I align things to my desktop, then it's not aligned properly on my OBS. And so I have to fix it. There we go. That's the button I want. Let's make that a bit bigger. Yes, you guys cannot see me, but you can hear me. Ha ha ha. There we go. But Dan's camera still doesn't seem to be working. So I will remove the Frodo picture again as soon as I go back to just me up on stage. Oops, no, I gotta go on stage. There we go. There. Oh, there. Okay. So I'll remove the Frodo. Oh, darn it. It wants to... If I do that. Okay. Now I'll transition to that one. And then I'll end studio mode. And then I'll take down the Frodo picture. There we go. Ah, I'm back. Okay. Dan's camera doesn't seem to be working, and I'm not hearing him either. So hopefully we can get that figured out soon. Soul Life, what does Stream Studio do? StreamYards. It's what a lot of the creators are using. It's what's used for this space. And then you get to change all the backgrounds and everything. You can add graphics and video clips that you can just click on. And it's like an entire studio for, you know, how you present. And then you stream direct from StreamYards. Whereas I've always streamed from OBS. And in OBS, I put in my graphics and the backgrounds and stuff that I want. But you can't share a camera with them. So I don't know how to bring people on for free to do a video call like this. But you can go into StreamYards and have a video call. And it doesn't cost you anything. But since I'm not paying for a subscription, I can't add any graphics or anything of that sort. It doesn't look fancy. So what I do is I still stream through OBS. But then I do a screen grab of what you're seeing here. That's why the quality, generally speaking, isn't as good. I think we have a Dan. I can see him. I can see him. And then I can stop rambling. Okay, so I will put the Frodo cover back on, and then I'll set up the shot. And you can still hear me as I'm doing this. And so then I go here, and then bring Dan up onto stage, and make sure, okay, I think this is working. Can I hear you, Dan?
Can you hear me?
I can. You're very quiet. So I'm going to transition so people can see you too. There we go.
Did you say I'm very quiet?
You're very quiet.
That's usually because I have a lot of ambient noise around me, but how about now?
That's better.
Welcome. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was showing up on my end totally fine. And I was using my setup I usually use for PowerPort. You can see on the space and on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it apparently wasn't working out. That's just StreamYard things. Sorry about that delay. Also, I heard very live, local, and late breaking that Bam had a thing come up, and so he is not able to make it, unfortunately. So you're stuck with me.
Oh no, that's fine. Who needs a third wheel?
Right.
But welcome. Thank you for doing this on such short notice, because I was hoping to find somebody to talk to about the video that I made.
Yeah, I'm glad to make it work. I'm glad to make it work.
Yeah. And you saw it earlier. You didn't see it during the premiere, but you did see it earlier. And so, what were you thinking?
You know, you know me, I can talk a lot, so I think it's, where you want to start. Where do you want to start? I'll say overall, not just flattering you with the many biases and our
No,
history of like
no, feel
talking about
free. Flatter
convocation, all
me.
that empty stuff.
Flatter me.
No, I admire how thorough you are with your videos and with your pulling different clips and pulling different articles. It reminds me of the energy I had when I was younger and had hope. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, if you look at those original Dan from the Internet videos, like the Ben Shapiro ones, the ones where I did PragerU, which I never really did a Charlie Kirk video, even though he was kind of prominent in that time of the people I was covering. Also, let me know if you can hear background noise because that's why I usually have my mic lower and usually it automatically adjusts my volume. But yeah, with like I kind of like made a lot of my bones with the free speech sort of like protests that were happening on campus, on college campuses, because I was going to a lot of these at the time. And I mean, these are really wild moments for me because like if I can sum it up really quickly, like the people I was covering, their fans would send me and my friends death threats. Me and my partners death threats. Some of these fans were fans of Charlie Kirk's. Um, and when you just plainly a point you made in your video very well and very repeatedly, which I think is good. Like if you have like a maybe repetitively is a better word, but if you have a point that you really want to make and you really want to sell in a video, especially one that's as like comprehensive as the one you made, like you really want to use repetition to your advantage. So I really appreciate that about your video as well. But these people were the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro, the results of the world they are calling for in their speech and the way they're dealing with people, and the way they're talking about others, and the way they're kind of gaming the whole like college campus thing, down to the whole contradiction of Ezra Klein saying they're doing free speech the right way versus the reality of these are content creators who are just trying to like get clicks and embarrass like 18, 19-year-old college students who are still forming their opinions with a person who is like objectively capable of less thought, or at least capable of more cynicism than any of these college students who are probably like more capable of creating more like good in society than Charlie Kirk ever could do. I think that contrast is laid like pretty bare in the video. And the last thing I'll say before we like really get into it, because like there's so many different angles with the video, of course, because it's a long project, is that I like these should be things you're just able to say, but you've seen celebrities, you've seen people with no real background kind of get caught up in this wave of censorship by the people who went on to make it full circle college campuses like the one I was going to at the time when I started making videos like the one you made just now, inspired by people like Francesca and John Oliver, but also like TYT and other different sources that like may have been like a little bit less favorable at the time, but this was like 10 years ago, so it was a vibe. You had to be there. But the fact that you're in this situation where it's really
just
not enough people, honestly,
not online,
and like even people, like you don't have to be online to know all these things. You don't have to like follow these people to know all these things. It's like a certain in the know too, but that's neither here nor there. The whole point is that like it is a shame that it is difficult to say these things and dance around these things. Algo speak, which I'm forgetting the name of who coined that term, and they're writing like a whole like linguistics of the internet book. I forget his name, but shout out to him. But it's not just like how we're using language to get around algorithms that we can possibly make like 35 cents off of whatever videos we're like doing. But it's also like there are things that you can say as a Canadian, and we're taught, at least in America, that like American free speech laws are like some of the most lenient on the planet, right? And you know, I tend to believe that, having lived in a couple of different countries. I can't say it's the most lenient. I don't know. Right? Like, I'm sure there are uninhabited islands where we can just like, get it cracking. But I
Uninhabited
see,
islands?
and I think a lot I uninhabited islands, yeah, uninhabited island. I might name that to but like we are seeing that erosion in America right now, and it is disconcerting.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we're doing this on the inaugural and probably final, knowing the Republicans at this point, Charlie Kirk,
National
Remembrance Day
Day
or
of
whatever.
Remembrance. Oh, sorry. Gotta
Yeah,
put the veil back on to show we're mourning. There we go.
I think it's more just because it's October, so it's like Halloween's coming up soon. But
No, it's because it was his birthday.
that's well, never mind. Anyways,
so here's my
as I try to end
I
for the
am
fifth
mourning.
time, I'm just going to say I'm really worried about what this means for free speech, because if they were willing to do this with Charlie Kirk and then like throw it away hours before the body was even cold, once they realized it wasn't really getting that juice, imagine in a scenario where like, I don't want this to happen for a multitude of reasons, but there's another attempt on Trump's life and his assassination, right? Like, that's someone Trump would actually care about because it's Trump. And that's when you start to see like martial law and even Democrats, like, your right-wing Schumers, like, start to fold even, right? And it doesn't matter who that shooter is, doesn't matter who it is, but like, we keep talking about Reichstag fire moments, and I think that's like the next continuation of your video of like what is going to be used. We keep like the people who have been calling this out and expecting this to happen for a long time have been like, okay, this is going to happen. We've been right this whole time. We're going to trust our own instincts. So what are we looking for right now? We're looking for all these like signals in the tea leaves. And there's all these different moments, like I mentioned, the Trump assassinations or whatever. But to kind of imagine, okay, this Charlie Kirk censorship wave for that like week, it was a really big deal, or 2 weeks was a really big deal. Hit everyone from like Jimmy Kimmel to like Jimmy down the block. Like, what happens when it's someone that MAGA cares about, i.e., a high elected public official? Maybe Trump, maybe someone even lower than that, but like, it's gonna get real scary. And like, we're already seeing jackbooted thugs, literally, to use conservative libertarian parlance, deployed to not just cities, not just blue areas, but major population centers in this country. If you want to do the maximum impact for the smallest amount of mileage, you go to places like Chicago, Los Angeles, Portland and Memphis, maybe, but New York is next on the docket. A lot of these areas, like, they're highly populated, and that tends to be why they lean blue, because you encounter people and you tend to be less bigoted. But these are all the things at play. I think you made a good video.
No, thank you. Yeah. Like, I know people keep on saying this is the Reichstag fire moment, and the thing is that it did happen. Like, everything is being put in place now. It's taking a bit for the flame to kind of ignite after the spark has been set. It's, the fuse has been lit, and this lit the fuse. So it is happening. The laws are getting passed. All these things it's kind of like they're putting all their ducks in a row first, as opposed to just immediately launching out. And that's the sense that
They're all about dry runs. Like, Los Angeles was a dry run, and then they expanded that out to other cities like DC and Chicago. And so, yeah, I think you're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just checking the SandBox. Oh, hello, my left eye. And the viewers just joined. Hello. Well, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. Me and Dan here are just talking about a video I just premiered about Charlie Kirk and the whitewashing that had happened. And just the absolutely mind-boggling level of commemoration and people tripping over themselves trying to, commemorate him properly. And I have a lot of jokes in my video that you might have to freeze the screen to see properly, or listen to it again and again, because I put in a lot of very subtle jokes. But
I appreciated that.
yeah, if you freeze the screen, it is absolutely ridiculous because Jamie Lee Curtis released a statement on how sad she was and stuff like that. And then I put up some things over top of these tweets to kind of say, no, he wasn't, or yes, he was, or these sorts of things. But with her, I'm like, did you even know who Charlie Crist was? And then I show a snip of an article under that where she was, during a live interview, she was asked about him and she referred to him as Charlie Crist. And then when she was corrected, she's like, oh, well, it's just because I associate him so much with Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a lot of these conservatives are embarrassing. And one of the things I really appreciated about your video also was, this is North America, North Korea down here. And
Proper
so
mourning. Proper
there's
mourning. We got to show the new
there's a
audience
lot of
we're mourning.
I'm used to having my soundboard, and so I have this ironic clip I play of Amy Goodman saying the phrase "Thank you, President Trump," and that's become my meme. Kind of like, forget 10 years old. If you're like 15 years old at this point, you'll remember that the old "Thank you, Brandon," or like "Fuck you, Brandon," or whatever was "Thanks, Obama." It was like people would say thanks Obama ironically as like a response to anything that was going on that was bad, that was like, oh, gas prices are going up, thanks Obama. It was the original like Joe Biden I did that sort of meme. But having the thank you President Trump thing as a button is the 1% of joy I get out of the 99% of pain that's going on. But no, like I mean to say all that to say that we don't get a lot of information. Like it's hard for me. Like Bam and I seek out information from international sources all the time, just from the nature of who we are and like the show we do. Same with Sachi and like most of the contributors who are on the show, and that goes doubly for people like you who are like internationally located. But it has been very hard to see like what the international reaction to Charlie Kirk is, and like part of the assumption is that like, oh, no one really cares. But like I like that you highlighted in your video there are some Canadians on all sides of the spectrum who are like bending the knee and showing the palm, just like so to speak, just like very meek about it.
I like the one from the Swedish parliament where you actually saw politicians with a spine, and during the moment of silence the conservatives were demanding, the left-leaning politicians were like banging on their desks and stuff to make sure that that didn't happen. But in the Canadian Parliament, they were all just so happy to be like, yay! Did somebody say Nazi? Yay! And it's like, you're kind of making a habit of this in the Canadian Parliament to be praising Nazis. But
bars in hell.
That's why, as I highlighted in my video, like seeing Wob Canoe say his video like that just absolutely infuriated me. He's NDP. He's the first First Nations premier of a province. Charlie Kirk would have, it's the doctrine of discovery type thing. Yeah, like it's just to see a politician that I had just, not a lot of faith in, but a little bit more than your average politician just totally fall in line. No research, no nothing. It was probably just somebody on his team said, "Oh, this person died. You should say something. It will help you politically." And it just made me so mad to see all of these Canadian politicians just like fawn over them, like just completely break their knees. They're bending over so hard for him. And they don't even know who he is, and it's disgusting, this political game that they're doing, anything that they can get to try to get these political points and whatnot. But they're doing this for somebody that literally most people don't know who he is. And I did find that kind of funny and ironic, especially talking with people that I know. And it's like they had no idea who this Charlie Kirk was. Oh, he got assassinated? Let's look and let's see who he is. And they come across the first montage and they're like, oh, holy shit. It's just like, why are people praising this guy? And so, in a way, this is making more people aware of Charlie, but not in the way the right was hoping.
And like I like that, thankfully time allowed the dust to settle and Trump not to get too over his skis, like, you're not seeing this real like crackdown like that serious, right? Like, like it's more just a pretense for the things they were already doing. I don't really see much
Well,
like new stuff happening because of Charlie Kirk.
we don't
In
see
America at
much
least.
in the big news, but there were thousands of people who were fired. I don't know if
Oh
a
no,
lot of them
I'm
got their jobs back.
I mean,
Mhm.
I don't mean to belittle that, but I try to like acknowledge
Mhm.
that kind of piece of it in the beginning, right? But I'm talking about like we know that through the Doge experiment of the first half of this year that there's a good connection between like Elon Musk, XAI, Palantir, and a lot of very key U.S. government information that pertains to citizens, whether it's Internal Revenue Service tax information, whether it's Social Security information and numbers and benefits, bank accounts for the Department of Education and student loans. There's so much that we know is being siphoned out to these entities. That part's like kind of already lost there. Yeah, like that's I think that's like additional to your point.
Yeah, but doing this whole video, it took a bit of my soul, like seeing the response to Charlie Kirk and what everyone was saying and doing, and the backlash and the way that he was. It wasn't enough that you didn't not say anything, but you had to say something and you had to be mourning him. Like there
Well,
was this
who? Well,
forced memorials of him.
so I think you were mentioning that one member from NDP
Hmm.
who, and like I think I don't know what's more disgraceful, the American Democratic Party or the Canadian NDP Party, because with the Canadian NDP Party, there's at least like the facade that you're to the left of the Liberals
Hmm.
there, right? And so I feel like it's more disappointing. I feel like it's like, you know, when AOC has her worst moments, and she seems to be doing something that seems a little bit counterproductive to a progressive cause, whether it's economically or politically or geopolitically or sociologically, like whatever. Many people do this. Many people make an entire cottage industry off of everything that AOC isn't you know doing or whatever, or not doing or anything like
Hmm.
that, right? um but yeah, I think there's a war right. I don't know how history books are going to be written. I don't know how like young people are going to be taught about this moment. It's kind of the weird trippy thing
Hmm.
because people who are students of history who kind of did take that seriously, and we were all in history, most of us were in history classes if we were like lucky enough to be in them, and we saw the people who were kind of slacking off and didn't really pay attention and didn't really stick with them, and maybe other subjects stuck with them. Maybe school just didn't stick with them. Whatever it is, we're in society with those people now anywhere we live. And to me, it's kind of like, okay, Hitler won one time and he lost. And then he won again. And that time he was like, okay, I like again, that's why I keep my mic down, because you may have heard the honking. But like, okay, I did this one time a long time ago. Now we can go a little bit more hard in the paint when it comes to we can go a little bit more hard in the paint when it comes to how we're tackling these issues and how we want to do these things. Like, you'll see how JD Vance is framing any attack towards what Tom Homan, also an Obama appointee for ICE, right? but Tom Homan, who is now the Trump border czar, border Goebbels, maybe, if you will, but you'll see there's a scandal with him taking money in a fast casual slot bag. Kava is the brand, apparently, which seems to be a bribe to get a government contract potentially for a future Trump administration. And JD Vance's inability to answer it has made it so that more people are paying attention to the story. But ultimately, it's how is history written? And history is not written by who is right a week and a half when the story comes out. History is written by who wins. And more specifically, winning is defined by who crushes their opponents, defined by however the winners define their opponents. And so the goal here is, how does America get to 2026? How does whatever insurgent left get to 2026? Because we've already seen Hell World and people are already describing it, and it's definitely more than 50% likely that armed federal masked thugs are going to be at polling places, potentially in communities, the same communities that have been targeted by ICE already, communities that have been generally assumed to be very heavily populated by immigrants. That's just going to depress the vote, because you're seeing that these thugs are arresting people who are immigrants, right? People are getting caught up who are immigrants. People who are getting, they're expanding what defines a criminal record. So okay, if you're in America and you're not a citizen, but you're here legally because you have some sort of temporary status, whether you're a student or you're a worker, but you retweeted something that the government doesn't like because this is North Korea now. Okay, now you're a criminal and you can get sent to Secot in El Salvador, or you can get sent to, a small country in the southern part of the African continent. All these different things can happen. And so it's really how we get to 2026. And part of it are these test moments with the Charlie Kirk thing, about how we make sure we maintain reality, and how we make sure that we're able to clearly point out and document for the record, right? I deleted most of my background on Facebook, but most of my videos on YouTube from this time don't have a lot of views. But when you mention the oh, this is psychological damage for me for making this video, oh yeah, totally, it was for me when I was making those things too. I mentioned the personal things that happened in my life because of it. Not only was it things that were happening to me through threats against my life, it was just wasn't making me a great person around certain people too either. So
well, for me, making
at least it's, I was just saying, sorry, let me just really finish. At least it is documented. And so when you are facing these psyop gaslighting campaigns, you know that in a moment of clarity, rage, anger, sadness, all the above or whatever, you documented something and it's a video and other people can use it. And you can even go back to reference it to kind of remind yourself that, like, yeah, no, these are the truths that we hold, right? Self-evident is like a continued thing, but self-evidence is continually eroding right now in American and kind of global society, right? So I think, like, the pain is part of the process. Even in your video, you also mentioned, like, the way your brain works, you kind of had a very calm, rational reaction when you were reacting to it live as it was happening. But you took a month to kind of react to it, and you had some really raw emotions in that video. And I think I'm a very similar person in that way too. Not very recently, but all this stuff builds up over time. But I think the production of content like that is particularly helpful. Sorry for the background noise, but I think the production of content like that is particularly helpful to just, if for nothing else, to keep oneself sane, and for also to be like, hey, I documented this already. So if you're arguing with me about the basic stuff, watch this in good faith. And if you can't watch this in good faith, then goodbye. I don't need to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
a little bit like peacemaking in that sense.
Yeah, because for me, it wasn't the making of the video that was causing the psychological damage. It was just seeing what everyone else was doing, the backlash, the I got no personal threats, but it was like just the general threat towards the left as a whole, knowing that so many people I care about, well, pretty much all the people I care about are on the left. And
Oh yeah, I mean, like,
making the
sorry,
video,
but this,
yeah.
this whole thing with, like, they're starting to target Hassan more. Like,
Hmm.
you're already seeing little bits of this with Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams saying, "Oh, Zoran did a video with Hassan. Hassan said that America deserved 9/11. Guess who was the producer who was there when he was saying that stuff?" So I know a lot about that whole thing. But and I was really angry with him at that point, but that's a story that I've told on my own
Hmm.
spaces at another point, at a different time. So that's a different thing. But like, when you get back to how this is being used, like, people are saying that, like, he's torturing his dog, right? And they're, like, manufacturing this story because they're trying to tear people down,
Hmm.
because not because they care about a dog, because they know they can weaponize that against someone that they see as strong and able to cut through some of these general narratives and potentially posing a threat to the power structure that they're trying to build ideologically.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's an information warfare kind of thing, and it's understandable to take some psychological damage in that, and that's kind of part of the
Yeah.
video content process. If you're doing politics,
Yeah.
I encourage you to do something else. You could do cosplay, you could do sports commentary, you could do uh you know uh misogyny content, you can do misandry content, like, there's so much other things to do where you can deal with different psychic damage.
Yeah, well, for me, making the video was my way of kind of releasing some of the emotions that I had, a way of venting it. Is just making this video was particularly difficult and draining, just given that I had this kind of timeline that I wanted to get it out today, being that today is the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Um, so, I wanted to, I had that deadline. If not, I probably wouldn't have been scrambling so much. I probably wouldn't have wrecked my voice on Friday when I did over 4 hours of talking in my YouTube voice to record that. Um, but just to touch on something else you had mentioned, last Wednesday on this space, I was talking about Darvo and I popped it up on the screen during my video. And it's a way that abusers tend, it's a pattern that abusers use. And at the end of it, it was talking about how do you fight back against the Darvo technique, and that is through support. One of the big ways is just supporting each other, talking about it. And that's part of the reason why there's such this rampant desire to shatter the left in all these different ways, like making up the fake thing about, you know, Hassan abusing his dog or something, because they know as soon as we start actually supporting each other, building momentum, standing together, that's when we really stand the chance of fighting back, when we start to unify and solidify in our support. So that's why they're constantly looking at different ways of making sure that doesn't happen on the left, by making a lot of these culture war issues and stuff. And by culture war issues, I mean more surface level culture war issues about, you know, people getting mad over something that isn't happening, or, you know, the dog issue, or other things like, oh, you're just arguing, you're just doing this, you're just doing that, because they don't want to see us unified. And that's for anyone who's benefiting from the current system. So it's not just people on the right. A lot of the people in the center, well, they claim to be on the center, they're on the right, also don't want to see that to happen, because what the left stands for threatens their status. It threatens their way of life. And they're not just going to roll over and let us do it. You know, we have to fight for it. We have to push forward for it, because, you know, the oppressors generally don't just say, you know what, I'm bored of this, and walk away. That's not how it works. So, yeah, but just all the work going into that video, because my brain works in very weird ways. And so I can see like this overall big picture, and then I'll remember it's like, oh, I saw this video here, or I saw this. So the first 2 weeks is just absorbing information. And if you see the script sheet that I have a bazillion links pasted on it, to all these different videos and stuff, so that when I started to do the build script, as I call it, I could put things in properly and whatnot. And for me, what the build script is as I'm actually going through my dialogue, when it comes to a clip, I actually get the clip and I put it in my video editing program, so I know it's there, and I can make sure that I'm responding to it correctly by rewatching it. And then if I'm using
It's like
an
a
image,
timesheet, so you
yeah,
know like what time this thing is
yeah.
showing up. Yeah.
And then if I have an image, I make the image at that moment and put it into the video editing program. And that saves a lot of time when it comes to doing the actual editing of my dialogue being put in. But then that way I know I have all the information and stuff that I need, but my brain will make all these connections across all these videos that I've seen and stuff. The tricky part is, uh, sometimes I will know it's like, I've seen this video. I know it's out there somewhere, but I don't know where, and I don't know how to search it. And my brain doesn't compute time. So I can't remember if it was from 2 months ago, or 2 years ago, or 10 years ago that I saw it.
In your defense, it's very hard to compute time at this time, and it's kind of by design. I will invite you to read some stuff from the SandBox. I have to use the restroom, so
Oh,
I will be right back. But like, I can still hear you with my wireless earbuds,
oh, okay.
so have that visual that I'm just listening to your YouTube comments on the can. Um, enjoy that, everybody.
As long as we don't hear it.
No, that's why this is the microphone. I'm not bringing this. Good lord. This would be a high definition, you know, that you have to be a paying subscriber to the SandBox in order to be able to get
Well,
that.
where do you guys think I got the sound effects for Stephen Miller?
That's okay. No. That's Sam. You got those from Sam. I'm talking about ones. Those are twos right there. Um, anyways, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what people are saying in the SandBox. You see, this is the other unfortunate thing. Since I'm not going, like, I'm not streaming through StreamYards itself, I can't just pull a comment on and have it pop up on screen. So you're just going to have to deal with me looking away from the SandBox from your perspective as I look for comments to read out. Uh, let's see what people are saying. Bad Lefty is saying, hoping the moment has passed, and talking about the massive attacks on people, I'm assuming, when it came to saying anything against Charlie Kirk. I hope it has too. But that's the thing, like, I have no idea how my video will get out there, if it will. It might just be an average video that I did and it gets 100 views or something. But it could also be picked up by the right wing, and I could get doxxed, and I could have my channel taken down. There's a wide range in between that too. So who knows where it will land on that. I'm hoping it does better than my average videos. And part of it is like all the messages I have in my videos, I feel are all important and they should all get out there. But it's like the amount of work I put into this. It would be nice. It would be nice to actually like be able to grow my YouTube channel because it's been pretty stagnant for a long, long time. And I've been, I know something that would help is if I got onto a different YouTube show as a guest that was bigger than mine. Um, but that hasn't happened since I've started my channel. To just help build it up because, especially like financially, I'm struggling. And it would be nice because I don't need enough to just get by. I live cheap. But it's just, I feel like I'm making good quality content with good quality commentary and it should get out there. But the amount of work that I put into this Charlie Kirk video was astronomical because it's like even all the audio clips that you saw, like all the video clips and stuff, I had to adjust the audio on most of them because a lot of them were too quiet. So I had to like double up their ranges and stuff of that sort so that when you're watching the entire video, you don't have to suddenly hit the volume button to go up or down or something to hear what's happening in it. Um, so it's like just that level of work that goes into it because everything you saw on that screen, I did. The graphics, um, the clipping of the videos, the editing of the video, the way that you would see me go in and out and all that was all me, the script, everything. And that is a lot of work and it'd be nice to be paid for it. But, it is one of those things. I don't know which one of my videos will eventually catch fire, but, I got to keep at it because I do like doing this. That's the thing. I do like making videos. I do like the live streaming. This isn't something that I don't dislike. And my worry is that to help up financially, I might have to go out get a real job, which would then take away from me doing this. Whereas I would like to be able to just do this more.
I think
And I don't think I could get a real
if
job.
am I on screen? Sorry, I'm
Yep,
back.
you are. I only read like 2 comments.
I was hearing the
Yeah.
whole thing. I was just gonna respond to that really quickly and just say like, I think Jeff Wiggins, friend of the shows, friend of our shows, um, is a really good like example. Like just like looking at his channel. I also think something that a secret, like an industry secret that used to be more of an industry secret that now YouTube is showing to a lot more people and like exposing to regular creators is A/B testing. And so I don't think you can really A/B test with titles that much yet. But sorry, siren behind me. But I don't think you can really test that much with A/B. The siren's distracting me, so it's getting annoying. Sorry. I don't think you can A. Let's just get it out. Let's just make it. It's gonna be as worst as possible. This is just what it's like living in the big city. It happens.
Yep.
Um, I just love having my windows open too much, so this is just the way it is. But I don't think titles you can A/B test as much, but thumbnails you definitely can. And a lot of the bigger creators like will test different thumbnails, and they tend to land on a similar thing. It's like, look at YouTube videos with people in that you follow, and like you'll see certain things. There's no need to go over the secrets here, but like you can just figure it out. And because like they all kind of start to develop like a monoculture, and so you figure out what are the things that the algorithm likes that create that monoculture, vis-a-vis what are the things that allow you to stand out and make your thumbnail unique and something you can start to develop a brand around. I think you have good, timely ideas. It's all just like the packaging, and that's like a different thing. It's just like you can't. It's the packaging that makes it harder.
The thing is again, I'm doing this all on my own, and I know how to use Photoshop, and I will absolutely admit I do not know how to make a good thumbnail. but I don't have like I can look at other people's thumbnails, but I don't even know how they make them. And I don't want to use AI. I'm pretty anti
Well,
AI.
that can be a different conversation, but I'm just speaking kind of
Hmm.
broadly, like like just
Hmm.
to get the point across. But yeah.
Yeah, but also I know I need to be making more content. It's just the TYT video is absolutely, I need to get that done. Like, I need that chapter in my life done. I need to get that video done because I'm hoping that this Charlie Kirk video might help people understand why it's taking me so long to do the TYT video, given the absolute mountain of information that I have been going through on my YouTube playlist that I have of reference videos. There's about 150 reference videos that are just on YouTube. So that doesn't include all the Twitter ones that I've included and stuff. And putting it all together, doing the build scripts for that and whatnot. It's a massive, massive project. But then once that's done, then I can just focus on maybe doing more live streams, clipping my live streams, doing shorter video essays, ones that, aren't an hour and a half or something, ones that are only 10 minutes or so. Um, but I need to get that TYT chapter out of my life. Ideally before they completely, join the PBD world and get funded directly from them and solely from them.
Right. Yeah. I want to get back to the like Kirk piece of all of this.
Hmm.
Um. Yeah, I think we kind of started this conversation about like there's so many different angles about this whole thing that kind of like surprised you or didn't, and I don't know like what is the like there's the mainstream kind of quote unquote like right wing, like I think you mentioned that like CBC, which is so embarrassing, um played the Charlie Kirk memorial and they
Hmm.
like played it on their networks, um and like Canada has not been sending their best. Stephen Crowder is another one of y'all's exports, right? And I'm very, yeah, I'm just out here wondering a little bit like what does the like in Canada, what does the media landscape look like for these right wingers? Like I know there's like I think there's like a Rebel TV or something like
Rebel
that
News.
y'all had out there for a minute.
Yeah.
Rebel News, that's right, yeah. And you see, I maybe can't name provinces, but I can name all of your deranged media networks.
Hmm.
Um, but I I think the right wing media in America right now, to answer my own question and then like put it back to you, is very interesting in that there are a lot of different factions that are kind of taking Trump. They're taking different bets on how Trump is going to go because it's kind of unpredictable internally. Like, it's very clear that most of his policies are unprecedented, already objectively not popular. Go against a lot of things, but the rule of law tends to favor the mad king dictator right now. And a lot of these things during the first term, all these different scandals would even out in the wash a little bit. And there's a whole other segment of people who are making what probably seems like the, keep the good times rolling kind of bet, which is he seems to be an invincible sort of political figure. Let's keep betting on that. And no matter how bad it looks, the more we pledge loyalty to this, then maybe there'll be something at the end of the rainbow for us.
Hmm.
And then you have a lot of right wing figures who are staking a lane that's away from that while also not trying to alienate that base. I think
Hmm.
like a lot of the Marjorie Taylor Greene coverage, while she's been saying a lot of smart things, I've been reminded by and let's put some respect on her game, like folks like Ravana, folks like Emma Vigeland, folks like J.R. Jackson. I've been reminded by these folks this week that just because Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying things that are reasonable, you have to pair those with her actions.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's willing to part from the thing that catapulted her to the fame, the success, the wealth that she's currently seeing and she currently is experiencing, or at least thinks she's experiencing in this moment in time. And you really know who you really get a renewed clear sense of who your allies are and who your adversaries are in that kind of dynamic.
You know what? That's actually
Yeah.
in my TYT video.
Yeah.
There's a
That's not like,
brilliant
you
there's a
know,
brilliant tweet that Mehdi Hassan sent out about, like, here are all the things MTG has done versus, you know, what AOC has done. And this idea that just because she's saying a few nice things now, when you compare it to all of her actions and they're giving her credit for these few nice things while totally trying to destroy AOC because of a few bad things, makes absolutely zero sense if you're looking for like a more left-leaning government and whatnot. But, you know, one of my biggest frustrations with all of these politicians is they will say to the people whatever they need to in order to secure their votes, but then they will vote the way that they need to secure their donors. And so I don't give a shit what MTG says. Show it in the votes, you know, show it in the actions. I don't care if she's saying some of the right things. And also, even when she is saying some of the right things, she ain't saying them for the right reason. Because it's that whole, you know, I'm against Israel as being, you know, an imperialist state that's currently committing a genocide and all this sort of stuff where she's just anti-Semitic.
yeah, like this is the Jewish space
Mm-hmm.
lasers lady. She's not going to be coming to the human rights based
Mm-hmm.
conclusions that we are all coming to. Like, or at least most of us on the left are coming to. I will say, you know, I as the years pass, I hate these directional binary terms like left and right, because I am now getting looped in by people who are on the right who want, you know, more of an end to the violence that's happening to Palestinians than the people on the right who don't. But those people on the right are anti Semitic. And then now there are people on the left who are playing with anti Semitism and these tropes just because, like, you know, there are certain, like, everyone wants to point out that, like, oh, David Ellison and Larry Ellison and that entire family, they're Jewish and they're trying to control a bunch of media networks. So that looks very, you know, that looks trying to very, like, you know, tropey, right? You know, and I'm just like, Donald Trump, I guess he pretends to be Christian. We're not really sure. For all he knows, he's like uh, a Seventh Day Adventist at this point. Like, we really have no idea. And honestly, he's probably not that religious. That would be the most
Well,
logical.
he has been going
And
around recently saying he doesn't think he's going to be getting into heaven. And why you
you
would
know,
just
broken.
randomly start talking about that is an indication that maybe he's been contemplating the end of his life for reasons.
I mean, I don't know. Broken clock theory. I don't like to read into it too much. He likes to throw out a lot of things for, like, as red meat, both for his base and for his haters. So, you know, even in the dementia he likely probably has, allegedly, like, you know, speculatively, um, I think that's like kind of like factor into the mix. But I think the overall piece of what we're getting to, or at least what I'm trying to get to, is that there's so much corruption that Donald Trump is doing, and whatever you ascribe his family's religion to or whatever, um, people aren't saying, "Oh, it's those Austrian Germans who are slowly controlling the world." Like, you know, like, oh, it's those Arabs who are slowly controlling the world. You kind of get that with China, and you kind of get that with, like, you know, East Asia. Like, oh, they're controlling the world. Like, there's some like big thing, but one of the oldest like hatreds in the world is anti-Semitism. And there's been like a valiant fight, often led by anti-Zionist Jews, about anti-Semitism not being the same as anti-Zionism, but man, is it really um like people are having to really battle all this stuff on all these other different sides, not because anti-Semitism is more appealing, but because good, reasonable information is being further and further obstructed by all of these, technological forces, these sociological forces, these economic forces. And it's not to make an excuse for any of this. I don't want to make it seem like I'm doing that, but we're allowing so much hate to permeate in our society, in our societies as well. And that is, and I say we, even if you feel like you have the right opinions on things, because I think we could all be doing more to prevent hate against gender, racial, religious lines, etc. Because yeah, we're definitely losing right now, and we see Democrats losing, but there have been many movements in history where the people who need to win for survival see losers, and they're like, all right, it's time to knuck up or buck up, like knuck up or buck up, right? So yeah, I feel like we're really close to that point.
Mm-hmm.
At least I hope. I mean, like, non-violently, politically, but like something.
Yeah, I caught a comment earlier out of the side of my eye from the reference frame asking about ETA on my TYT. There is none at this point. I have no idea. I really have no idea. Ideally, I want to get it done before a year. And so that's mid-December is when it first got sparked in my brain. Ideally, I want it done before then. But the
Well,
idea that I can get it done in like the next month or so, because like if I could get it done for my 5-year anniversary of my YouTube show, that would be amazing. It's not getting done in 2 weeks.
so can I? Maybe I'm not giving the best advice here, but I'll just say this from what I'm experiencing. Um, I kind of wanted my last video to be Dan from the Internet 20 Bad News. The one that I had made like post COVID, where I kind of like, go all bread tube Dan and I play different characters with myself and I get all dressed up and stuff. Like, things changed because of that. My real last video I want to make, I'm still working on. I've been working on for 5 years, and I've spent a lot of money, and I owe so much money. And I have all the footage. I just need to make it. There's a lot of reasons why it took a long time, but it's the same thing still applies, right? Where make it to document it, and if it needs to take more time, and it's something that you're passionate about, just make it, because you're passionate about it, because I think you need it documented. Like, I think like most good video editors, you just have like an innate passion to get something outside of your brain and into a visual space in which others can interact with it, because it can be expressed in a way that's so much more profound than words, or like words can do alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I would just like, allow yourself the grace to take the time it needs for the story to really fall out. And like, if it's that moment where like, oh, PBD is, I don't really follow, I'll be honest, I don't really follow this entire like line of, oh, PBD buys TYT. Like, I don't know what happens, right? But like, there are many moments in the TYT trajectory, past, present, and probably future, where the video you're making can be relevant. And that's how I'm seeing my video as well. Thankfully, we've chosen topics that continue to kind of like, have a story that you can add on to. So
yeah, like,
you'll know when it's right, but also kick yourself in the ass a little bit to like finish it for sure.
Yeah, because it taking so long, there's actually valuable information that has happened from when I first initially started it. That's good to have in the video. But also, part of the reason I just want to get it done so I just have that chapter closed. It's not so much that I want it done by a certain time, although I kind of do. it's just I want that chapter closed because the way that
Same
I work
applies.
on
Yeah, same
things,
applies.
yeah,
Yeah.
the way I work on things is I can't focus on more than one big project at a time. I desperately want to get back to my book, writing the world of the vampires and stuff like that. It's just I know the instant I put pencil and paper on that one, that TYT video won't get done. So it's kind of like I have to hold off working on the book and other things that I want to do until that TYT video is done. Otherwise, it will never get done. And I just kind of want it off my plate. I've been promising my audience it for almost a year now. I just want it done, get it out there. But I've been doing this wild thing about it, to help me actually work on it more regularly. And it's I set my alarm to wake me up in the morning. It's wild. It's wild what happens when you do that on a
I do the
regular
direct
basis.
opposite. I've been waking up to an alarm for most of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and like, it's because of how I am and how I've raised. So, like, I wake up in the morning, like, I'm a morning person in general. And so, like, I'm naturally waking up a little bit by like 7 or 8 a.m., even if I've had a really crazy night and I've just gone to bed at like 5 a.m. Right? So it's a blessing, it's a curse, but waking up naturally has done wonders for my mental health, among other things. In the past year, I'd say I've done, especially since the election, when I definitely felt myself starting to lose it a little bit. And yeah, I would just say, what I'm doing is not the prescriptive option.
Mm-hmm.
It is just what is working for me. I encourage people to do the similar kind of searching that I'm doing with myself. And I encourage people to do that with themselves as well. I'm trying to make videos about that, ironically, too, because I have content from last year when I did a vow of silence and I just didn't talk to anyone for like a good week in person in real life, period. Like, so
That
I learned a
happens
lot
to
about
me a
myself
lot of
during
the
that moment. And
times.
yeah.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot of the times because I'm a loser. Not from choice, just I don't have I have friends, but they're usually busy with their lives. Um I've gone a week, 2 weeks without having an actual conversation with a human being. Unless I'm going to a freaking grocery store.
Well, I mean, you should count
Yeah.
the grocery store conversations. You should, like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't force it, but those things count. I think I was talking with someone in like a business meeting earlier today, and they were getting choked up about the fact that they talk to their neighbors when they're walking their dog. Um, and they make the effort to say hi to everyone. And this is in the context of America, where
Mm-hmm.
like neighborhood solidarity in diverse communities means a lot right now. And yeah, I think folks would do well. You, me, everyone watching, bam, everyone in general would do well to just like take whatever community means to you. If it's your pets, if it's your local animals, if it's
Mm.
your
You're getting really quiet again.
sorry, um whatever community means to you, whether it's your pets, whether it's your animals, whether it's people at the grocery store, whether it's neighbors in your building, or your complex, or your street, or your road, or whatever. um I think have some good, yeah, like try to build community wherever you can, and just like try to build out, um because everything we're doing online was originally built for communication, but now it's increasingly built for monetization, which promotes isolation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to repeat that. Like,
Yeah.
we tried to do this for communication. It then got built for monetization, and as a result, we're getting isolation. And so to get that community back, you got to do that in real life. However you can, as much as you can. And even if you're kind of limited to being in a local space, like how active are you in Discord servers? Like how are you promoting not just, passive communication, but non-asynchronous, like, really people in the moment sort of interactions. And yeah, I think that stuff's needed now more than ever. And I always say, like, anyone with an earshot of me who is like into a lot of these communities, a lot of y'all are doing this. Any isolation you feel, you just gotta take that next step, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I struggle. Like, I'm trying to get out more and be around people. It's just finances really suck, especially when the meetups are at restaurants and stuff like that. Because no, you don't have to buy anything, but to sit at a restaurant and watch everyone else eat while you don't, it people don't understand when you're not doing it out of choice, but you're doing it out of lack of funds. It's not a great environment to be in. Um,
You have any parks near you?
oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, like, people bring out board games out to parks. Like, there's a little bit of investment about, like,
I have
buying that.
friends that
But
are into board games, and there is very few board games that I like.
okay, well, maybe it's not board games, but it's card
I know.
games, right? Like,
Eh,
there's people. I mean, like, like, it sounds cheesy, but I'll put it like this: the people who are outside,
mhm,
around my neighborhood, who on this Tuesday evening are throwing down the same stack of dominoes they've been throwing down for the past 10 years with the same men and women they've been throwing down with for the past 20 years. uh they're having a very good time and they have lived a very good life, and we are stressing about shit we can't control. So I, I hold that within my heart a little
mhm,
bit to, like, humble myself, um to be like, you know, there's ignorance, but there's also, like, yeah, I don't think these people are, like, any less ignorant to life. Like, they're just experiencing what comes at life in a different way. Um, what we're doing right now is just a lot more of, reflection and rumination in the systems that are creating why life is the way it is. But I think that energy has to go out somewhere for those of us who are very hyperactive. And content creation is a good space, but also for folks who consume a lot of content, like I think a lot of content creators do, and a lot of the viewers of content creators do. There's so much fulfillment from little bits of community action. It's going to be really cold in a lot of places. Deliver some blankets to people in your community, like
mhm.
work in a soup kitchen. Honestly,
Yeah,
like,
I
it's
volunteer.
stuff like that that really works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I volunteer, which is
I'm
nice.
not saying you don't.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you don't, but, like, there's not enough people like you.
yeah.
If I can channel my inner Bam, because he's too much of a deadbeat to come on.
Talking shit about Bam when he's not here to defend himself.
Exactly. That's how we do it.
At
Dan
least it's
plays
not for the
dirty.
same
We all
reasons as
know.
Charlie Kirk can't speak for himself, huh?
Like I was saying, even
Um,
if he survives, he's gonna have, like, the Stephen Hawking thing set up on him. Like, he's not gonna be able to speak. Like, that's gonna be See, now I've pissed off everybody. I've pissed off so many different communities with that line. Like, that's what America's supposed to be about. Free
well, I'm
speech.
just
South Park.
surprised nobody else has used the trigger warning joke with him. Like when I thought of it, everyone, and I was mentioning it to people ahead of time, they had never heard of it, and it's like how has not like a dozen content creators used that line yet? Because it's so obvious. It's like right there for you. It's like,
It
oh,
is
you know
funny.
who needed a trigger warning? Charlie Kirk.
It is pretty good. Yeah, I have to go in about
Mhm.
like 10 minutes or so,
Yeah.
if that's all right. Is there
No,
anything we wanted to like wrap up with? I have time in between now and then though.
no, no, that's fine. I'll probably just respond to some stuff in the sandbox, but this wasn't like meant to be like a heavy or even a long live stream. It was just to talk about the issues in the videos, respond to any super chats if I had gotten them, that
Well,
sort
did you
of
have
thing.
any questions for me or like any sort of like because yeah, I don't know how how you plan this, but I'm usually like, you know me, if my guest could go for 10 hours, I could at least make it 8. So
Yeah, no, no,
I don't know if there's anything you want to like go over.
it was just kind of like I wanted to have like a little fun mocking the whole idea of today being the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Hence why I had the veil on earlier because it is just again it is so ridiculous. All the
Yeah,
memorials and
and
stuff, the statues and the coins, and oh he's the Man of Steel because he didn't have an exit wound. Guess what? He had a fucking exit wound. I saw the blood pouring out of it.
yeah, like
There
I
was
guess that's the
blood
thing is that
exiting his body. Let's put it that way.
I like you know like I think I've been told that I've developed like an American numbness to a lot of these things, and I think that's real as someone who has spent some time outside of the country.
Mhm.
Um, and that I've seen the Charlie Kirk video. Like some people were like, "Oh, I saw it once, or I saw it 2 or 3 times." I'm like, dude, I saw that like dozens of times, man. Um, I'm just so desensitized to it. Maybe it's the video games, maybe it's Maybelline. Like I don't know, but like I I again, like his fans sent me death threats, and I don't wish that on anyone. But there is like this sort of like stat about how many Americans believe in like new age spirituality type things, and like karma is like the number one thing that like a lot of Americans believe in. And I don't even believe in karma like that. Like, you know, like whatever you put into the world eventually comes back. But like, you know, irony happens. If you're the average media figure who is trying to get clicks wherever is possible, you are going to walk yourself into a trap where you have just said so many things that you will eventually contradict yourself.
Mhm.
And you know, despite my best attempts, I've done it myself too. And some of that has been, you know, genuine growth and learning. Some of that has just been like, you just talk for a period of time under different circumstances, under different contexts, and you just end up contradicting yourself. And I I guess I say all that to say, when a month removed, seeing how everyone is as squirrel brained as I am, and even the right wing is like, you know, the it, I think when you start beating the pinata and the candy stops coming out is when you can start to wrap up your video. And I think you did the Charlie Kirk video at the right time, and I'll end with this. Um, Turning Points USA, which may deserve another video on its own, maybe like a little sub thing. So maybe I'm contradicting myself here, but you know, if this is nothing but circular arguments, here we are. But Turning Points USA responded to Bad Bunny being announced as the Super Bowl halftime show performance, and all the right wingers saying, "We
Oh,
need an
it should be
American to do this.
American.
Stop speaking Spanish." And it's just like you you racist yak tooth inbreds don't even know that Puerto Rico is the same classification as Washington D.C. It's the same classification as Guam, right? These are U.S. territories that don't have statehood. They don't have rights. Hell, at least D.C. gets like a congressperson, right? Like you know, this is just one of the many places in America. Like, you can go to a certain neighborhoods in New York where they just speak Polish, right? And no one's saying there's an invasion of Poland because that's probably Donald Trump's dating pool, right? So I guess I say all that to say, God, the yeah, most of what I was saying was that we need to have a no, I forgot what I was saying. I'm sure it was good though.
Oh yeah, yeah. I trust. I have faith in you.
Yeah. No, but honestly, it was just that
We were talking about Poland.
with all the I know. I was doing like a funny aside about like, immigrants and how we're like defining all those different things. But and this is why Bam is usually helpful because he'll tease me, but he'll usually kind of like follow my like different tendencies. Like ultimately you were trying to say this. But I think that the Charlie Kirk situation numbed me a lot. And I've been numbed by a lot of this stuff happening. And I think the more we just kind of like take stock of reality and continue to ground ourselves in reality, the better we will be going forward. There, I think I like stumbled into a landing there at some point.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, especially with such short notice and stuff, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate you always making time right before you go to bed to stick out on the PowerPoint chats as well.
Oh yeah, right before I go to bed. I'm a night person. Well, yeah, no. That's the thing. That's why I have to set the alarm in the morning, because if I could switch over, I would never see daylight.
And yeah, like I'm a morning person. Like I wish. I mean, I'm a morning person, but I also think siesta should be a thing. Like, I think we should just culturally accept the idea that a nap in the middle of the day is kind of cool.
No, I am constantly fighting being a night person because, just trying to get to bed before or around 1 is a challenge. But if I didn't have to worry about actually participating in society, like doctor's appointments or going to the car garage and stuff like that, I could easily just never see daylight. Like my body will just automatically go to that. And it's happened a couple times, but then nothing is open and nobody is awake. So it's hard to be social at those times.
I do love my blackout curtains. And I will say the annoying thing about being a morning person is that you're usually things are open, but it's usually other morning people, which tend to be the elderly. And so it's like people who are very slow in line. They want to make conversation and like, make a stink about the customer service. And it's just like, I am ordering, like I have a package of like Dayquil and some like tea and milk and like a Band-Aid. Like, right? Just open self-checkout. Just let me go. But now we're getting into my niche issues. Sandy, thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for making these kinds of videos. Keep it up. I think there's a space for type of work you're doing in short form and long form. And I also appreciate you giving your audience a little bit more of like an into the behind the scenes view of how you're making a lot of these decisions. Guys, you can tell I'm a morning person. I need to go to sleep soon. Okay. But yeah, thank you very much. And I will talk to you soon in the DMs on Blue Sky, etc. Bye-bye, y'all. Okay. And thanks for all for watching. Good to see you.
I will be joining the SandBox. Oh, I can take these out of my ear holes. There we go. Hello, everyone. I can take these out of my ear holes now because I'm not talking with anyone else, so I don't have to worry about echoes. It's stuck in the tail. There we go. And I'll just hang out with you guys for, about an hour, 15, 20 minutes. Read some stuff in the SandBox. Oh, it's all tangled in my hair. There we go. And I will actually unplug them from there just in case some weird sounds are going on that I don't hear. Anyway, yeah. So, let's see what people are saying in the sandbox. And God, I love my little kitty earrings. They're skeletons. I love them so much. I got them at the powwow too. There were some Halloween earrings mixed in with some other earrings I got. And yeah, I think I showed it in my last live stream, my news live stream, or I did a live stream Sunday, but it wasn't like a real live stream, and I kind of showed people some of the work that goes into making these videos. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But I desperately want to get that TYT one done just so that chapter is done. Just so I have it. It's out there. It's out of my brain. And then I can focus on my book, because you have no idea how much I live in this world. I live in this world all the freaking time. And I'm not going to be one of those writers where I'm going to be sitting there in the morning like, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write. I will have to pry myself away from the computer. I will have to force myself to take breaks from that book once I get into the storylines and stuff, because when I go on my walks, and my walks are really meditative and helpful, I visit the world, and it's to the point now, these are memories that I have about this world, and just some of the connections with some historical events and stuff that I'm making, and it just is so good. I can't wait. I can't wait. Though after some of the sequels, I still want to do some of the writing, but even though there's not going to be like a massive conflict that they have to resolve after, some of the sequels that lead into the massive conflict, but once that's resolved, I still want to write some books, but I think it's going to be more about healing from trauma. And so it's not like it's going to be a page turner per se, or gripping stakes, high stakes and stuff. It's just going to be more, how do you heal from trauma? Is what the major thing that I can't tell you about, because it would be totally spoiling the book if I did. And just seeing them kind of move on with their lives type thing. Let's see. And I know reference frame. I know you're not trying to rush me with the TYT video or anything. It's just, I feel kind of guilty sometimes because I've constantly been saying I've been working on this video and then there's nothing. But I have been working on it. And now the Charlie Kirk took about a month away from it. But now that the Charlie Kirk video is done and out there, I can get back to focusing on doing the build script and stuff like that. But yeah, sure, I think now that I thought of it, having it done for November 1st would be amazing, because that would be the 5-year anniversary of my channel. It's not going to happen. It's just not. I can't envision that happening. Because the first half of the video is done. So part 1 is like scripted out. And by scripted out, it's like, I still have to go over it and tweak it and stuff, but I want to have the second part laid out as well before I do that, in case an adjustment here means an adjustment there, for consistency's sake and whatnot. And the first part, the second half of the first part in particular, it's light on the scripted stuff, like what I'm saying, because a lot of the montages and whatnot will be speaking for themselves. But the second part, there's going to be more of my commentary involved, even with the montages and stuff. So, yeah. But I think for the rest of the week, I'm taking a bit of a break. I have some drawing I want to do, so I'll be doing that to just kind of unwind from everything. And then next week, get back at the TYT script, because I want to start plotting out the timeline of the vampires and stuff. I could talk about the vampires in my book forever. But I need to have like somebody that I can talk to and bounce ideas off of that has read the book and likes spoilers. Like they like the spoilers, so I can bounce ideas off and be like, okay, so I have an idea what's going to be happening around this time period, but there needs to be something a little more oomph to it, and that sort of thing, that sort of thing. But you would have to like spoilers. I had a friend once like that, and he probably would have really loved the genre too, but I haven't talked to him in like 15 years. No, more like 10. 10. That's the thing about being autistic is you can have friend breakups and not even know why. Let's see what people are saying. Well, night to every people who have gone to bed. Not that you're still watching this. I don't know if people come back and like watch the parts of the streams they missed or not. It depends. Yes, the reference frame. I am Minuet. that's I picture myself as Minuet, of course. A lot of writers do that with the main characters. My secret book I have out there, I actually didn't picture myself in it at all. And that was intentional with it, but for reasons that I can't tell you guys about. But with Necroplasm, I do see myself as Minuet, but not really, because my thought pattern it's not the exact same as hers. And she looks different than me. Oh. Let's see what people are saying. Rachel says I'm already mostly vampire. Yeah. Don't have my teeth in right now. Yeah, I loved with the Rebel HQ videos that I would make, and some of the comments under there, people thought they were insulting me by saying I was Queen of the Damned or I looked like that or something. Oh, shucks, you're just talking sweet to me. No, I've had a thing about vampires since I was a kid, like literally elementary school. Um, I don't know what it is about them that drew me to them initially, but ever since I was a kid, there was just something about vampires that I found really intriguing and fascinating. And so, I've always known that they're not real. Like, don't get me wrong there, but just the idea, the fantasy of it, the different realms of them, the different types of vampires and all that sort of stuff. There's just something about it that I've always, always uh, have been drawn to. Um, and then there were people who like to actually live more like vampires. I knew one guy once, he had porcelain like actually went to the dentist, cosmetic dentistry done to make him have like longer canines and stuff. And it's like, I wouldn't be against getting that done. Because it'd be nice to have those fangs in and be able to chew still. Because that's the thing about those costume fangs is you can't shut your jaw, so you can't chew because it's, your teeth aren't lined up properly. And then you also can't risk, because then you'd risk swallowing them, which is not good. But yeah, part of the strain of doing this Charlie Kirk video was trying to get it out for today. So Friday, I fried my voice. I completely fried it because I did over 4 hours of recording for the script. Because what you see is the best takes. So I wouldn't have to rely on that so much, other than I'm not great at reading out loud. Like, I can read fine, but reading and speaking out loud, like reading out loud what I'm seeing, it's a bit of a challenge. And so my way around it is to memorize it, but that takes time and energy, even though I'm a hell of a lot faster at memorizing than a lot of people. And if I have the script memorized, I can play it up easier. I can get into character easier. I can, play to the camera more. But with a script that long, it's a no-go. It's a no-go. Especially under that time crunch, because it takes me about an hour to memorize 5-minute long monologue. So you can imagine how long that's going to be. But since there's no time crunch on the TYT video, I might try to memorize it. Because I won't be recording it in one solid chunk like I was with the Charlie Kirk video. And like I said, when I have it memorized, I can play it to the camera. And so I don't have to rely on taking like 10 takes and then picking the best one. Although there's no 10 takes. It's usually, I'd say, a minimum 2, just in case there's an audio thing. I'd say it's 3 or 4 for every paragraph. But then when it comes to the quippy one-liners, okay, maybe there can be 10 takes of those. But we're talking about like the same sentence and it's just over and over because I know in my head how I want it to sound. And so it's a matter of just trying to capture that properly. Let's see what people are saying. Oh, hello, the Wild West. You see, I'm not recognizing a lot of people in here right now because everyone's name is all changed because stupid YouTube. Mozart, vampires aren't real? Well, if they were, I'd love to finally meet them. But here's the tricky thing about it. Because some of the vampire lore is you keep the body that you have when you become a vampire. And as much as I would absolutely love to be a vampire, I would not be able to handle maintaining this body. No, I despise my body too much for that. If living forever meant I had to stay with this body, I wouldn't want to. So sometimes that's why in my vampire lore that you see, it's like, oh, they grow and then they stop at peak health, or some other vampire lore out there is your body heals to peak health and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be in the body that I'm like, it would be the peak health of what this body could have been. And that I could handle. But if it was just keeping exactly what I have right now, forget it. Would not be able to do it. Would not. Rachel, how long is the script for the TYT video? I don't know. The one for Charlie Kirk was 13 pages. And I think the TYT video, oh, I can't on that screen because you guys will see it. Gotta remember that I'm capturing the screen there. Let's see. It's this one here. Okay, good. How many pages are you? 23. Okay, so for the first part of the TYT video, and I'll have some smoothing out to do, the script is about 20 pages long. And it'll probably be closer to 25 when all is said and done for the first part. So each part of the videos are probably going to be 2.5 hours long with all the clips and stuff added. John Martinez, Count Duckula is my favorite vampire. He's vegan, who is fame hungry. So life, I had a friend since high school that stopped talking to me a few years ago, said my depression messed up the vibe since he always knew me as the joker at the party, but now I'm just there, lol. Yeah, I had lots of people who stopped being my friend when they found out that I had mental health issues. But the thing is I was just letting them know that this had always been a thing. Like all that time that I knew them, I was still dealing with them. And so the change, it wasn't that I was changing, it's just their perception of me changed. And they couldn't handle that. And then I've had lots of friends that were mad at me for something. or they weren't feeling fulfilled in the friendship for some reason, but they never communicated it to me because I guess in neurotypical relationships, they figure these things out, but you kind of have to tell me because I'm not just going to pick up on the fact that you know, they're not feeling centered enough at times and whatnot. And it's like, okay, you have to. I'm fine, setting up boundaries and parameters and stuff, but they'll hold on to a grudge for months or a year, and then finally one day they'll just snap, and that's the end of the friendship. Like no attempts at making it better, no attempts of um repairing it or anything of that sort. It's just they then completely cut me out of their life, and I'm just left wondering, like, what did I do? Because nothing was communicated up to that point. Because if I was doing something wrong, I would have liked to know, because it's not intentional. And so then maybe it's some behavior that could be corrected. Or if it's not behavior that I feel like I can correct, then we know. And we can end, we can either set up a different dynamic or more amicably end the friendship. But so many friends I've just had cut me off, and sometimes I never know the reason. Let's see. The Wild West. Oh man, it just flashed back to my favorite Canadian show, Forever Night. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah. I wouldn't mind trying to find a source so I could rewatch it just to see if it held up at all. At all. But I do remember watching that when I was a kid. No, I love vampire genre. Although that said, outside of Forever Night, I don't know if I've watched a full series because I never watched all of True Blood. There's the Vampire Diaries I never watched all of. I did get around because it's on one of the streaming programs that I have because of my friend. What We Do in the Shadows. And I get why some people would find it funny, but I don't find a lot of the humor in it particularly funny myself. So I didn't necessarily like it all that much. Like it was fine. Like that's it. It was fine, but I didn't necessarily like it. Although I might, at some point try to rewatch it just to see if I feel the same about it after a while. But I've seen a lot of vampire movies, ones that most people might not have ever heard of, ones like Innocent Blood or oh, what was it called? There was another vampire movie, and a lot of them were made in Toronto. A lot of them were made in Toronto. Um, oh man, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Another one too. That was done more from the perspective of the vampires and whatnot. And another vampire movie I remember watching over a bunch of times where, similar to like my book, there's a gene that you need to have in order to be able to become a vampire. Because that's the thing about a lot of the vampire stories is like if it's too easy to become a vampire, like all it takes is to get bit, then you're looking at daybreakers. Like that's what would happen is the world would become daybreakers. It's going to bug me not remembering the name of that other vampire movie that I remember watching ages and ages and ages ago. I think it was something simple like Real Vampires. Looney Tunes will send me an IM. Okay, we'll set something up. Okay, well, if there's nothing else for me to get to, and everyone is raving about my Charlie Kirk video, please go out and promote it. It'd be nice if that one got 100 views or 1,000 views would be nice. I've only had 3 videos get over 10K. For a channel my size, that's really low. Because usually a channel my sizes have some go a bit more viral than that. So it'd be nice to get this one over at least 1,000 views. So please go out, promote it, get people. I did actually kind of like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Rachel Atwood. I've seen so many vampire movies, but I haven't seen all of them. Let Me Out was really good. But yeah, please go out, promote the video. I'd like to get it over 1,000 views. I put a lot of work into it. So, and I feel like there's very important messages in it, and there's some fucking funny jokes in it. I know there's funny jokes. And there's very subtle jokes in there that you might not catch the first time you hear them. Like when I joke about and Charlie's body hasn't even been resurrected yet. Like there's very small subtle jokes in there. And one that I like that I don't think anyone picked up on was my joke about Steven Crowder, that you can't change, you get no value in changing his mind in the way that 1 times 0 returns no value. So just imagine change being the value of 1, Steve's mind being the value of 0. You can't change a mind if the mind holds nothing. If there's nothing in there, you can't get value from that. That's the thing. 1 times 0 returns a 0 because there's nothing there. There's nothing there. It was a math joke. I put in a freaking math joke. Looney Tunes says they already promoted it. Bad Lefty, the Kirk video is some of your best work, in my opinion. I'm sure it'll do really well. Why, thank you. Rachel Atwood, Let Me In versus Let the Right One In. I haven't seen the right one. I've just seen the American version. Mozart liked my analogy. I liked 30 Days a Night. There's a sequel. Do not bother with it. Just don't. Just no. It's a hard no. Do not watch the sequel to 30 Days a Night. Just don't. Do not. But I like 30 Days a Night. Of course, there was Interview with a Vampire and Brad Pitt. Dracula from way back when in the 90s. There's just such a vibe about that one that you can't really replicate. And I've read Dracula too. I should reread that book. Yeah, there's so many things, but I like that in my book it is the perspective of the vampires, and since I'm putting it in this world, they're the good guys. Because I don't know if you've noticed, humans kind of suck. Lost Boys. It's been so long since I've seen the Lost Boys. I'll have to do like a vampire movie marathon of ones that I haven't seen in ages. But yeah. Because to me, I've never necessarily viewed the vampires as being the bad guys. Because, well, I'm not religious, so I don't see them as demonic creatures. But I still enjoy the vampire movies where they are the demonic creatures and the bad guys. Like, those are still good. But I have another vampire storyline in mind too that I want to write, which is it's a different world than the one that for this book. And it was actually one that I had thought about before this book. And so this book actually has borrowed some things from my original vampire series that I want to get to. But yeah. Bad Lefty. Vampires suck, but humans are awful. Yeah. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of stuff. I like learning about the occult stuff, like, you know, the whole idea of psychic fairs and things. I like it. It's catchy and I like it. It's fun. It's just it's nice to pretend, you know, all of that. All of that. It's nice. It's fun. It's fun. Okay. Oh, I don't think I have the graphics up here. I made some new graphics. Because I'm trying to separate my social medias, I have to add it to this one. Let's see, image. Yeah, because definitely for the TYT video, I want to have all my socials separated by then, so that Left of the Box is my content for YouTube, and then Sandy Lovis is for my art and my writing, which is, it's a bit frustrating because the Sandy Lovis accounts are built up a bit more, which makes it a bit difficult when I want to promote my political channels. And for some reason, it's been growing on Blue Sky, my Sandy Lovis account, even though I'm not really doing much from it. There we go. Oh, this way, this way. I think it looks nicer and it's easier to read, and it has all the stuff. So yeah, nope. This stuff here for Left of the Box, but then this stuff here for my art and writing. I think it looks better. I like the background tile that I have for it. So please, you know the routine. You know to check all of that out. And I need to just unwind. I wish I had ice cream right now. It's only 8:30. I could go out to DQ. I could. But yeah. Okay, so with all that, I'll see you guys Wednesday for, well, I guess that's tomorrow for this space. Let me know if there's any subject you want me to cover in it, because I have no idea what I'm planning on saying yet. Yeah. I should probably just end it. But I do enjoy chatting with people. That's the thing. I enjoy the live streams. I enjoy making the videos. So, but with all of this, I will do the sign off properly, and I'll see some of you tomorrow. The other people I will see probably Sunday. I don't think there was any agenda things on Sunday that would interfere with my regular live streams. So let me check. Yep, this Sunday's in the clear, so I'll be doing my regular news live stream on Sunday. So, see some of you tomorrow. See some of you on Sunday. Hit the like. Thank you, mods, for keeping the SandBox clean of turds. And I appreciate all of you. So, salut, à la prochaine. Thank you for watching and stay tuned. I'm Sandy, wishing your tomorrow is better than your today.